A little Gophers women's basketball today and why we need to give them credit and still be excited for the future. This team is in a good spot. It's in a good spot and a huge stretch coming up right now to let them exceed expectations. We'll talk about it today on Locked On Golden Gophers.
Hey,
You are Locked On Golden Gophers.
No matter what we're going to do here, we're just going to keep rowing.
Your daily podcast on the Minnesota
Whatever
Golden Gophers.
However it turns out, we're just going to keep rowing.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
We're just going to keep rowing, and keep rowing.
You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Kane Rob, host of the podcast, former collegiate football video coordinator and recruiting assistant, here to talk Golden Gophers with you each and every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Now today we've got a special show, a little bit of a catch-up show for the couple days I did miss during the week. And I want to talk some Gophers women's basketball. It's been a minute since we've talked about them, and they've had their ups, they've had their downs in the last couple weeks, but they're right there in the middle of the pack when it comes to Big Ten standings. I believe they're like currently 9th or 10th in the Big Ten, but there's some big wins that come through, and then there are some tight losses that have come through and a couple of big losses along the way. But there's some hope. There's some hope there. We're going to talk about that today, but be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, let me know your thoughts, and be sure to leave a 5-star review wherever you get the podcast at Locked On Golden Gophers. Now let's talk some women's basketball. Let's talk about this Gopher squad. Now, if they mess around and they get some road wins, which has been the only real area where they've had some struggles. I believe they're like 1-6 on the road or 1-8 on the road. It's pretty rough. It's rough on the road right now. But if they mess around and get some road wins, this team could be a scary team, one of the late seeds in the tournament if they can get things together here to close the season. Now you're talking about in the entire Big Ten, they have 2 players in the top 20 in scoring across the entire conference, and that's number 13 and number 17. And that's Mara Braun and Rose Michaud, both coming into that top 20 in scoring for the Big Ten. Now, when you look at the scoring in the Big Ten as a whole, top 20, we're still talking that there's 11 seniors in the top 20 that take up 11 of those top 20 spaces in scoring. Then you have 3 juniors, so that's 14 total upperclassmen that are taking up 20 of those top spots, and then 4 sophomores and 2 freshmen. Well, guess what? We have one of those sophomores and one of those freshmen in the top 20, which is, it just goes to show you that as this team gets older, as they continue to develop and grow, this team could have some scary potential in a year from now, in 2 years from now, to be one of those teams that we're seeing in the Big Ten that are top dogs, that are up in the rankings, that are consistently winning. We're getting there. We're building it the right way. Now, it's not just about scoring in basketball, so let's look at the rebounds. Well, Michaud is a top 5 player in rebounds. Mallory Heyer is a true freshman and is number 8 in the entire conference in rebounds. And then Amaya Battle even cracks the top 20 in rebounds with 16. So we have 3 of the top 20 rebounders in the entire conference. Then you move over to assists. We've got Amaya Battle, who's 7th in the conference, and Katie Borowicz, is 19th in the top 20 in assists. 2 players there. Then you move over to steals. Katie B is 3rd and Mara Braun is 11th in steals. Every category we are talking about, we've got 2 to 3 people represented in that top 20 by the Gophers, and they're all freshmen or sophomores. They are all underclassmen. Every single player I listed in that group is an underclassman. That should show you that the future is bright. And now we are just hoping this women's team can continue to take strides. Now, there's been some more positive aspects of this season compared to last season, and we're doing it with a younger team. But there's still opportunities for this team to take a big step, to shake up some things, to play spoiler to some of these top-ranked teams in the Big Ten, and that's what we're going to talk about coming up next. First, I want to talk to you about our friends, a new sponsor to the show that bring you this show today, and that is FanDuel. This year, the only app that you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sportbook. We're really excited. Our new sports betting partner from Locked On, because they're the #1 sports book in America. That's FanDuel. They're our new partner. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. And on top of that, if you download now, you can bet Super Bowl 57 with no sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from money line to point spreads and to who will score a touchdown. So definitely feel free to check out FanDuel Sportsbook. It's a safe app. It's secure. It's super easy to use. And best of all, you get paid your winnings instantly. So join FanDuel today by going to FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. Again, that's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook of the NFL. Now, one thing I want to talk about with the Gophers women's basketball, a lot of people want this immediate gratification of winning all the time, winning huge Big Ten games constantly. But you're not taking into consideration the fact of what has happened with the program so far. Now, could there be more wins out there? Yes, there absolutely could be. But I'm seeing posts about how the Gophers are only 46-67 since Coyle was the AD here with the women's basketball program when playing in the Big Ten. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But where's the context? Where's the context that he came in May of 2016, which means he had the 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021 seasons all right there. That's basically one class of players. That's seeing a freshman class from the freshman to their super senior year, but you also aren't adding in the fact of there was a COVID year in there. That shook up everything. On top of that, the mass exodus of Gophers players because of a rough year this past year. So, yes, the Gophers women's team needs to see improvements. And I think we're seeing them slightly with this true freshman class, with the returning sophomores who have taken on the mantle of leadership and been like, no, we want to build something here. And you're seeing it start to come through more and more. And that's hopefully, look, all things considered, you have to start to win big games down this stretch here, but then also in these next 2 to 3 years where these true freshmen that are out there balling and these sophomores that are out there balling head into their upperclassmen years. Yes, then the Gophers need to start being in those territories of in the top 7, in the top 5 in the class when it comes in the conference, when it comes to winning basketball games in the conference, getting into these tournaments and making a big run. That needs to happen. And that's still a possibility with this season, with the upcoming schedule ahead, which we're about to talk about in just a minute. But I just want to say, fans, yes, I want to win. You want to win. But understand, program building takes time. It takes time. And yes, you could say Coach Whalen has had time, but at the same time, you're not accounting for the craziness that we've seen in the last few years with the pandemic, with the opening of the transfer portal, with NIL. It's an unprecedented time. So let's give it a beat. Let's give it a breath and appreciate the growth that we are seeing from this underclassmen class right now. That's my PSA. That's my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to that. But let's talk about the women. Let's talk about what is coming up in the big opportunity to play spoiler, which is at hand. All right, Gophers fans, thank you for listening and making Locked On Golden Gophers your first listen when it comes to daily Gopher sports. We're doing a quicker episode today, but I did want to talk about the women's basketball team, and they've got games coming up, including today. Today they play at home versus Michigan. Michigan is a ranked team, number 13 last time I looked, and the Gophers have a big opportunity to play spoiler, a big opportunity to really boost themselves when it comes to trying to make a fight at the last hoorah here in the regular season and sneak into a tournament spot. Now, they're currently have a 4-game stretch coming up that is pretty brutal. It's pretty big, but if you can steal away 2, steal away 1, or hopefully 2, it can really catapult you into that next opportunity, that next wave of momentum to close the year. Now, the next 4 matchups are number 13 Michigan at home here in Minnesota, then number 6 Indiana at home again, and that's with Sarah Scalia coming back to town because she transferred to Indiana. Then you go on the road to take on number 22 Illinois, and then you go on the road again to take on number 2 Ohio State. That's 4 games back to back to back to back, ranked games, ranked game, ranked game, ranked game. It's huge. And if the Gophers can steal away one or two of these games, whew, look out. That energy could really shore up the Gophers women's team and help them in their final games, their final 5 games after that stretch, which are all winnable. So then you take away 1 or 2 of these games, and then you go down that final stretch and you take away all 5 of them, which are all reasonably winnable games. That can get you finishing hot, putting together 15 to 16 total wins, and that is with an extremely young squad, and that only has 3 returners on the entire roster from last year. You want to talk about bouncing back. You want to talk about building the right way, growing, and showing hope for the future. That would be a massive way to do that. So if the Gophers can pull off 1 to 2 of these wins here in the next 4 games and then go on a little streak, not only does that help you try to boost a resume to get into the tournament, not only does that head into the Big Ten tournament feeling yourself and feeling confident and having that swag and showing everybody what's cooking up in the kitchen, as Rose Michaud said it to open the year. Not only does it do all that, but if you finish that hot at the end of this regular season, I guarantee you 100%, no team is going to want to see a confident, hot team streaking in the Big Ten tournament, which, oh yeah, is being held in Minnesota this year. That could be fun. That could be a storyline. That could be something to pay attention and look out for. So definitely, Gophers fans, get out there, support the Gophers women's basketball team. Go see these freshmen, go see these young sophomores, and go see some of the rotational pieces that are upperclassmen, that are bringing those veteran minutes and contributing in big ways over at the barn. Go check out the Gophers women starting today versus Michigan at home, and then coming again on against Indiana, I should say, with Sarah Scalia coming back to town. Go out there and cheer your Gophers on. Go out there and give them that energy. Go out there and help them close out this season with a bang. That's going to do it for us here at Locked On Golden Gophers. Like I said, a shorter show for today, but I wanted to get you that little extra bit of content going. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube and let me know what you're liking about the channel and what you want to see moving forward. This is Kane Rob signing off. I will see you tomorrow where we start off a new week. Row the boat, Sky Ma. Go Gophers.